if you're running something so offensive like Logan.
Yeah, I think a key to that too is, even if you allow the Trick Room, just trying to force the opponent to kind of put it up at a time where it's difficult for them to like quickly turn and take advantage of it, where if you can kind of burn the first 2-3 turns adjusting, it makes it a little bit easier to get through it.
All right, so here we are in Game 1, Round 5, between Aditya Subramanian and Logan Hirsch. Adi with the Palkia Gothitelle lead on the bottom of your screen, on top having Groudon Venusaur. So you will have Chlorophyll activated on this turn, and the two Pokemon there for Logan are not able to switch out.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty strong duo on both sides. Potentially 2 Trick Room users on Adi's side, assuming at some point that will be the goal. Venusaur threatening to stop that perhaps with Sleep Powder, but there's a lot of guessing in this play, right? Like, which of the Pokemon, if any, will actually use Trick Room? Where does the Sleep Powder go, assuming it comes off? I could also always just, Gigantamax the Venusaur and start getting damage out. So lots of options for both players here, but we do see the Sleep Powder.
Yep, it avoids Palkia, so we know he was targeting down the salt's in the wound. You missed Sleep Powder, but he hits Hypnosis onto Groudon. Very unfortunate turn for Logan there, as Groudon is forced to stay asleep there, and now Palkia sets up a very effective turn 1 Trick Room for Adi.
Yeah, that is a devastating turn. Yeah, we saw the Sleep Powder, but I guess Palkia didn't, because able to get out of the way of that one. And yeah, this is tough. We have a great Dynamax option in the field with Palkia now, so yeah, that scenario where maybe you try and stall it out so you can't turn too quickly. Probably not going to happen here. Could easily take advantage of his Trick Room immediately. You have a sleeping Pokemon that can't switch out right now because of Shadow Tag. There's not a whole lot of good about this current board state if you're Logan.
And we actually saw through many times with the Gothitelle matchup, you're just fine clicking Hypnosis. You don't, talking with those trainers, you don't even care if it hits or not, because sometimes if it, that's just the best thing you can do. The other thing you can do is Helping Hand with the Palkia, because it is going to be pretty strong this turn with a Spatial Rend. Helping Hand boosted Spatial Rend into the Venusaur will bring it down to 1 thanks to its Focus Sash. That means Venusaur is going to hang around. Life Orb was actually revealed on that attack, and the Sleep Powder does connect this time into Palkia, meaning next turn Adi's Palkia is forced to be asleep.
All right, so this is a very different situation now, right? Where it's kind of reversed, where now with Palkia sleeping, it's a little bit easier to burn those turns of Trick Room. Palkia probably going to want to switch up, but I guess we'll see. Venusaur, at least it confirms the item on it, where now know that its Focus Sash can deal with that for the rest of the series, but sort of a waste of, you get the Helping Hand boosted attack and just hit the Sash anyway.
Palkia switching out before that first turn of sleep, so that means later on when Palkia switches in, it's going to have to remain asleep. Adi deciding that the Incineroar's Intimidate is more valuable than wasting that first turn of sleep on the Palkia here. Groudon actually stays asleep yet again, so that's max sleep for it. And Hypnosis is 2 for 2 as Venusaur is put to sleep. That's where I was saying sometimes you just hit Hypnosis because you don't care. It's a 1 HP Venusaur and the Groudon's asleep anyway. There's nothing else that this Gothitelle can do. It's just providing Shadow Tag and Hypnosis.
Hey, it works. Heat check for the Gothitelle there. Hits once, hit twice. And now and again, we went back in a situation where for Adi it's a very good board state. We got the Intimidating Groudon. They're both asleep. Groudon likely to wake up, but even if it does, Incineroar potentially either faking out or just exiting the battle again with Parting Shot. And, there's only 2 more turns left in Trick Room, but Logan hasn't really made any progress toward getting a situation where he can actually stop the Trick Room, right? Like, if he keeps being controlled like this, Adi's just going to set it up again with one of the Pokemon who can do so.
Yeah, it is like, there are only 2 turns left, but as you're saying, it really is. There's nothing preventing either Gothitelle or Palkia, or potentially if Calyrex Ice Rider is Adi's last Pokemon in the back, which we have not confirmed yet. There's nothing stopping them at this point from clicking it. Fake Out goes into Groudon, though. He does wake up just to be flinched. Then Hypnosis puts him right back to sleep. That is a disastrous turn of events for Logan here, as now Groudon again is forced to be asleep next turn, and Venusaur stays asleep too. What is this?
Yeah, I mean, Incineroar might be the Fire-type Pokemon on the field, but Gothitelle's on fire. That's 3 in a row. Gonna be a little frustrated maybe if you're Logan, but this is the strength of this team, right? Where it's just so tough to break through the control.
Yeah, I don't even know. At this point, you almost kind of have to account for Hypnosis landing every time, right? You can't be like, all right, well, if I can make sure it misses, I can move this attack. But it's like, well, it's just going to hit every time, and Shadow Tag means I can't switch out anyway.
Yeah, that's what's so frustrating, right? It's like, well, got 2 sleeping Pokemon, can't switch out, so yeah, I guess I'll just roll some dice, right? You know, we're in the sure cold anecdote from between games, right? It's no more control in the hands of the player.
All right, so the Incineroar is going to Parting Shot into the Groudon. When he wakes up, if he ever does, he will find himself at -1 attack and special attack. Actually, 2 because of the Intimidate from the Incineroar earlier, 2 turns ago here. So you want Venusaur's likely to wake up at this point. You know, I believe you could try to match with your Sleep Powders or try to get some damage off on the field. So Palkia is the choice for Adi to switch into that Incineroar slot, and Groudon is still asleep. And Hypnosis, well, you can't put Venusaur to sleep because it was already asleep. Leaf Storm does connect onto the Gothitelle, does over half. At this point, you don't even care about the stat drops because you're at 1 HP anyway. You're going down eventually.
Yeah, we got the slumber parties going on here. We've added yet another sleeping Pokemon to the field. The Leaf Storm's nice there. I mean, with the special attack drop, it's not really threatening a knockout immediately on Gothitelle, but now if it trickles over, it is quicker. Could get a second sleep from that side of the field, and we see Palkia exiting the battle.
All right, Palkia switching back out yet again before activating that first turn, or getting through that first turn of sweep that it has to. So that still has to be something Adi has to wager in the back later on in this matchup. Incineroar goes into that slot. That's another Intimidate. Sleep Powder misses again, and Groudon is asleep again. And now we don't even need Palkia to set up Trick Room because Gothitelle's got it covered.
Yeah, Gothitelle's doing everything this game. Just put all the Pokemon to sleep, set up Trick Room. Yeah, I mean, probably giving a motivational speech to the other Pokemon on the team. What can't this Gothitelle do? I do feel like, maybe he's played with his food long enough, but this low-health Venusaur is pretty intimidating, where at some point you should probably just knock that out, remove the threat of the sleep.
And another Parting Shot onto Groudon. So this poor sleeping Groudon is going to wake up to a very unfortunate world with seeing that it has had its attack lowered 4 times now and cannot switch out because of Gothitelle's Shadow Tag. It's an ability that's so frustrating to face against because there really seems like a lot of times if you lead the wrong lead, there's nothing you can do against it. There's the Hypnosis again. Venusaur finally avoiding that. Sleep Powder disconnect. All right, so at least for next turn, the Gothitelle is not able to put anything else to sleep.
Yeah, Logan proving that no one puts his Pokemon to sleep 5 times in a row. Able to fire back with that one, but the Calyrex does get on the field safely. It's sitting there full health. Groudon continues to be trapped at a comically low amount of attack, and I would expect to see Calyrex start going the offensive here. You do want to take advantage of Groudon being trapped while Gothitelle is still on the field.
And the Glacial Lance is super effective into both of Logan's Pokemon there, so a very smart switch to bring him in on the previous turn. Groudon actually hangs on. Obviously, Venusaur only needed the 1 HP, so that is down. But Groudon at 24 HP, if it can ever wake up, can try to go for an attack in retaliation. It does wake up, and Precipice Blades will connect onto both of Adi's Pokemon. Not enough damage though, because he's essentially like a, like a Route 1 Pokemon you find. That's how low his attack is right now.
Yeah, I once watched a 1 HP eruption in this building, and that was not all that much stronger.
Gastrodon is the switch because finally Logan is able to switch something into the field, so that could be helpful later on if Palkia ever comes back out.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, and I kind of mentioned in the pregame, I mean, that's kind of all he's got for slower, bulkier Pokemon. It's these two. Groudon doing its best, but just was just no match for Gothitelle's weird antics this game.
Well, Gothitelle will stay asleep this turn as well, so Glacial Lance does connect onto both and will knock out the Groudon. It is a neutral attack into Gastrodon, but it actually does over half because of the Chilling Day boost from the previous turn. Already had an attack boost, so that turns it into a guaranteed 2-hit KO. Gets another attack boost here for Adi, but the yawn from Gastrodon saying if you want to keep attacking, you're going to pay for it. Not only will I sleep powder you, but I'll also put you to sleep with yawn.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, this this Calyrex was so chilled. I mean, I think it was going to freeze the whole battlefield if this went on for much longer. So that is potentially a big yawn as Azing gets out here. One more turn left in Trick Room, so there is some chance to turn this one around. But man, this Calyrex has really dished out the hurt in just a couple of turns.
Yeah, and actually, I'm pretty sure, Logan hasn't even Dynamaxed yet, and all you have, because Zacian can't, is a 35-40% health Gastrodon, maybe that is the best way, but once you click that Dynamax, like, at any point, Gothitelle can wake up and click Hypnosis.
Yeah, and it's scary, too, because, I mean, he kind of couldn't do it any faster because Yawn was so important there, so kind of a really weird way to pin him out of being able to use Dynamax.
Incineroar will switch into that Calyrex slot so that the Calyrex is able to reset that Yawn, not any threat of being put to sleep. And you are also facing down a Zacian, right? That is definitely a terrifying position. But here is the Dynamax Gastrodon.
Hey, I mean, you got to go for it, right? Where at least he'll get a max move off here, likely. But boy, it would sure be a shame if we saw yet another Hypnosis.
I'm going to say likely is a dangerous word because although you will double your HP, you've just become a larger target for the Hypnosis to lay down. Not literally, it's still 60%, but you know, it's kind of funny to think that way. Zacian will protect though, so it's up to the Gastrodon. Gastrodon moving faster on this turn, this Max Quake. If it goes into the Gothitelle, that is enough to knock it out, so no more Hypnosis, you know, funny business on this game.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, win or lose, that has to be one of the more satisfying knockouts Logan has ever made in a Pokemon game, where that Gothitelle was sure terrorizing him.
Yeah, you will have the leftovers from Gastrodon. So you have Incineroar. Twisted Dimensions do return to normal. So in this spot for Adi, do you bring in the Palkia and finally waste that first turn lead that you still haven't had? Or do you bring in the Calyrex against the Zacian, you know, while there's no Trick Room? That's really scary as well.
Yeah, it's kind of somehow we've wound up in a position where you know, Logan's spots on all that bad. We do see the Calyrex coming. I think that makes sense. I don't think you can afford to just kind of like let Incineroar get deleted while Palkia sits there being a pinata.
All right, I guess that is the spot because now you know that Gastrodon doesn't have any chance of being put to sleep since Gothitelle is out. So Max Geyser, it's not like they're sun up or anything, so that will be a pretty strong, super effective attack into the Incineroar if he wants.
Yeah, also potential for one more Trick Room here. You know, Incineroar just into the battle, so Zacian has to protect and.
Right, yeah, because you don't want to get fake outed, right?
Yeah.
So the fake out does go into protect. That is correct. Although, what did Adi do? Did he decide to Trick Room on this turn or target into the Zacian? We're going to find out. As the Max Quake does bring Incineroar down to pretty much exactly 50 health, a little bit under 50% of its HP remaining, meaning another attack would be able to probably bring it down if it's Sacred Sword from the Zacian or an Earth Power from the Gastrodon. Eject button, though, from Incineroar, so that means he is going to switch into the Palkia at this point, which you got it safely in on the field. If Calyrex Ice Rider went for the Trick Room, then you'll be super fast under Trick Room, and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, so he gets Trick Room set up incredibly safely there. Great play. However, it'll be interesting to see what he does because, yeah, I mean, he's found yet another way to get Palkia into the battle without using a turn of sleep. So it can't wake up this turn still. You know, so probably tempting to bring Incineroar back in and get another Intimidate onto the Zacian, but you know, at some point, unless you think you can finish the game without Palkia, you gotta let it take at least the one turn.
Exactly, you have to let it just break through, and Adi still won't. He's still saving that moment for, you know, for later on. That's 3 separate times that it has had a chance to get rid of that first turn of sleep, and it chose not to. Incineroar will switch in to lower the attack of Zacian yet again, and since Logan is down to his final 2 Pokemon, there's no way to reset that attack stat. Now it's finally time for Adi to Dynamax. This game has been going on forever, and we've had 2 of the latest Dynamaxes I feel like we've seen in Series 12 at this point, but it is definitely the best option remaining for Adi because he's very healthy. You have Trick Room up, and you can go for Max Hailstorm either, you know, or into the Gastrodon, who was under half of his HP, and that does not do enough. Gastrodon hangs on with just, it looked like 9 HP. It just hung on, so he's going to get another attack, and it is the Max Quake. It's those Max Quakes that, you know, you have same type attack bonus on a Max Quake, so it does a little bit more damage to the Calyrex there, and actually a good amount because of a crit.
Yeah, that was not quite what I was expecting for a critical hit, but you know, every little bit of damage adds up.
Yeah, and then the Behemoth Blade, it's Zacian, you made yourself a bigger target. Behemoth Blade does double damage when you are Dynamax, and it's already, you know, pretty strong into it, but it's not enough as the Calyrex hangs on in the red as well. And Gastrodon faints to the hail. So Calyrex doesn't get the attack boost, but he still gets the knockout.
Yeah, the knockout's all that matters. We'll have to say Calyrex is like 2.5 knockouts this game. I'll give partial credit for that one.
Yeah, so Adi does have a 3-to-1 Pokemon advantage right now. The Zacian is still relatively healthy, though, but Incineroar, if it has Flare Blitz, can just click it whenever it wants.
Yeah, I think that's this is another fake out turn, right? So at the very least, you get free damage through the protect if he tries to make it. I just don't know how this works out. There's 3 turns left in Trick Room.
Yeah, Zacian will protect here, so being scared of the fake out, because if you take the fake out and then a full Dynamax attack, instead you only take a quarter of the damage from this Max Quake thanks to protect. It still does some solid damage, and every little bit helps. Even if you find a way to get rid of Calyrex somehow, you still have the Incineroar to hit you with Flare Blitz, and you still have, I believe the Palkia is full health. I don't think it's been hit at this point. I could be wrong, but we might not even, find out if Calyrex just handles the job here.
Yeah, I mean, one of the more entertaining things I think I can remember the game where the Palkia is in, the Palkia is out, never took its snooze. He was sleeping the whole time, but it's never actually let it tick.
Yeah, to Adi's, credit, he didn't need to, right? You didn't really need to. I felt like, if I was in this matchup, I would have wanted to get rid of that first sleep as fast as I could, so I know that there's a chance I could wake up. Credit to Adi, he understood he didn't really need Palkia in his win condition.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's probably a pretty good lesson for anyone watching at home, right? Where with how low both Incineroar and Calyrex's HP wound up being, if he had spent a turn trying to wake Palkia up and something else took damage because of it, it's easy to imagine a world where if Palkia had a longer sleep, that would have caused him to lose the game, right? Because it's not like, oh, you just sleep one turn and then you're going to wake up. You only have a chance of waking up after that. It could still be several more turns. Again, one of the stranger, not even really endgame scenarios, but really entire game scenarios where Palkia got put to sleep like turn 4 or something and just hanging out.
So we saw Hypnosis, we saw Sleep Powder, we saw Yawn. That's 3 different ways to set up sleep. Obviously, Adi doesn't want to bring Top Infinity because that would stop his Hypnosis strategy. But what is Logan's response to a Gothitelle lead that's just going to shadow tag you in?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just dodge it is not great advice, but maybe, right? Because I mean, kind of what happened the first time, right? He did not hit his sleep move. Adi did, and then, he was kind of just hosed. The odds are actually in favor of the reverse happening rather than what did. I think it's tough after losing game 1 just to gamble on the sleep move versus the sleep move thing, where I think if both sides play similars at the series, it's a huge advantage to be up in the set, right? Because there's a lot of probability that can occur when there are that many inaccurate moves getting thrown back and forth. You got to assume, Gothitelle's not going to hit 3 Hypnosis in a row consistently.
Yeah, and then, unfortunately, there's no Amoonguss in this set because we could have had Spore as another way of setting up the sleep, though. But, looking at Logan's team here with the Gothitelle Incineroar or Gothitelle Palkia, which I believe is the lead of game 1, it's Gothitelle Palkia, set up the Trick Room. The Zacian, if it has Play Rough, you can hit the Palkia super effectively, but it doesn't look like there's anything that can cleanly one-hit the Gothitelle. And if it's holding Focus Sash anyway, then you're going to need to dedicate 2 attacks into that slot.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward too, right? Because I think one thing you could do to adjust from that game is the Dynamax actually wound up being okay despite Dynamaxing such a low HP Pokemon, but it wasn't amazing value. So there'd be some temptation to try to bust the game open by Dynamaxing with maybe a more offensive Pokemon. I think the threat of doing that is if Trick Room gets put up anyway, the Pokemon that can dish out a lot of damage and Dynamax are also very vulnerable to just being knocked out while they're Dynamaxed. So I'm not sure that path would work. I think it's just tough where getting grounding caught with Gothitelle again is probably a losing scenario.
Let's see what Logan's adjustment in game 2 is, and it is Zacian Thundurus, so it actually is a much more aggressive lead. I was going to suggest if you bring Thundurus here, it's a great Dynamax option, especially if Adi leads Incineroar. So because you're Defiant, that instead of getting your attack dropped, it'll still be dropped for Zacian, but for Thundurus, you have Defiant, it's going to boost your attack instead, and you can be really strong. Now Adi has to be a little worried about what this Thundurus can do on turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot more power, right? Last game we saw 3 Max Quakes from Gastrodon. It did its best. I mean, a very different level of power coming from Thundurus.
Yeah, into the Palkia, which would, if you went for a Max Lightning, one that would be a neutral attack into the Palkia, right? You ignore a Fake Out from the Incineroar if you're Dynamax, and you get Electric Terrain, which, would help everything except Thundurus, because he's Flying type, would help your grounded Pokemon not be put to sleep as well. That seems like a win-win-win.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that, but that may be the best part of having Thundurus in the game, right? Just remove that whole line of play entirely.
Gastrodon will switch into the Zacian slot there, just in case, if a Hydro Pump goes there, or if the Incineroar tries to Fake Out that slot. Instead, you don't want Zacian to take any unnecessary damage. So here it is for Logan. with his Defiant boost, going to be super strong on this Dynamax Thunders. You can go for Airstream because, you know, that would be helpful, or you can click the Max Lightning as well. The fake out from Incineroar does go into the Gastron switch in, so that was the correct decision for Logan to make. And Max Lightning will connect onto Palkia. That's a one-hit KO. That's the power of Defiant.
Yeah, I mean, and then we have a radically different game now. That's a huge knockout. It's one of those potential Trick Room Pokemon down. Poor Palkia, once again, doesn't actually get to use any attacks, but that's a huge swing. I mean, now, you know, Incineroar is out there. It's already used its fake out. You know, it's not really providing a whole lot of pressure in the field. It's the one Pokemon on Logan's side. Yeah, we can do Parting Shot.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't even Parting Shot your way out because he's just going to make him even stronger at that point. So this has been a great adjustment for Logan in game. I wonder what Adi's decision was to not lead Gothitelle since it was so strong in game one, instead making yourself vulnerable to the Thunderous adjustment by leading Incineroar.
Yeah, I'm assuming he was just kind of expecting a different adjustment from Logan and get caught there because, yeah, I mean, there's other combination of Pokemon where maybe that would have made sense. So we do see the Gothitelle coming in, but it's going to have to take a heck of a lot more damage than it did last game to try to get that Trick Room up. But, I mean, it seems super necessary, right? You assume Calyrex's last Pokemon, at least you have that, you know, super effective damage being threatened to Thundurus, but you got to get the Trick Room up first.
Yeah, Logan cannot switch, but I'm not sure he wants to anyway because there is the Dark Attack into Gothitelle. That's what Logan was looking for in game one, a way to super effectively hit the Gothitelle. Brings it down to its Focus Sash, so any other attacks going in that direction will be able to knock it out. You get a special defense drop onto the Incineroar as well. Hypnosis avoids the Thundurus, which is huge for Logan, and the Parting Shot has to go in to Gastron here because you just will never live it down if you Parting Shot into a Defiant Thundurus.
Yeah, I mean, that seemed like it would have been a great way to get Calyrex one-shot once it comes in. But still, I mean, that Hypnosis miss is a big deal. We kind of saw the reverse last time where it hit every time. And now, without that hitting, I mean, Thundurus is putting out an awful lot of pressure here. The one positive, wait a second, but there's electric terrain.
There is. So the you can't put anything, you know, you can still hit the Thundurus because it's flying, but you can't hit Gastrodon, you can't hit Groudon, anything. So even, and Gothitelle is at 1 HP at this point, so it really is not going to be too, it's not long for the rest of this match, as we like to say.
At least it's like the Gothitelle's presence, if nothing else, it encourages you to attack it with Thundurus, just because if you don't, you know, I don't know, I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, I think you can almost pressure it down, right? Because, like, you wind up with sleeping Thundurus, like, oh, well, like...
Right, Thundurus already did its job because it knocked out Palkia. It did 99% to the Gothitelle, so if it is put to sleep, then, you know, it kind of happens. But Protect from Calyrex, that means if he targeted that slot, it would be doing a lot less damage. But instead, smartly for Logan, he decides to take out the Gothitelle. Just, you don't want to mess with Hypnosis because Electric Terrain's not going to be on the field forever.
Yeah, and also just, you know, avoids Gothitelle being an option for setting up Trick Room. You know, Calyrex now, if it tries to set it up itself, it's going to have to take a beating.
He did also reveal the White Herb, or show the White Herb there from the Max Darkness, dropping his stats there. White Herb reset that, so that's nice for, you know, Logan to know that that's what the held item is. The Incineroar is switching though for Adi, so he's down to his final 2 Pokemon, and Logan's 3 turn to Dynamax are over.
Yeah, and it's crucial here, too, because, yeah, Thundurus, in theory, looks like it's going to be really powerful here, but now that it's vulnerable to Fake Out, you just take the Fake Out, take the Trick Room, and Thundurus can have a really difficult time actually using those attack boosts.
Yeah, that's right. If you Fake Out Trick Room here, then you twist the dimensions, Calyrex will be faster than everything, and Glacial Lance, it's a spread attack. We saw just how strong it was in the previous game. Obviously, it would knock out Thundurus, but it is the 2-hit KO onto Gastrodon, so Gastrodon has to, you know, kind of be worried there that he would be knocked out from 2 Glacial Lances. Here is the Fake Out into Thundurus, obviously predicted, and Earth Power from Gastrodon targeting the Incineroar does some okay damage there, but here's Trick Room from Calyrex.
Yeah, I mean, here's the chance, right? Yeah, he had to give up a lot more resources in order to get that Trick Room established this time. Now, no Pokemon sleeping this game on Logan's side of the field, but, you know, he does get Calyrex out relatively safely with a full duration of Trick Room, so, you know, if there's any way to get back in the game, it's this. He's probably going to want that Incineroar to stay around a while, though. I mean, it seems like kind of a weird Earth Power onto Incineroar maybe at first because, you know, that's not the most threatening Pokemon on that side, but you know, you still need that extra damage. You're getting down to 1 Pokemon at this point. I think it'd be really rough. Zacian's still looming.
Yes, and Logan still having all 4 of his Pokemon in this matchup. They actually haven't even revealed the 4th Pokemon yet for Logan. We know Zacian's there, but we don't know the 4th. Here is the Dynamax out of Adi, and it's Dynamax Incineroar, something we've seen a little bit more often here in Vancouver than in previous events. And, you know, it definitely makes sense in this matchup because you don't want to lose the spread damage that Glacial Lance provides, as that's what Adi opts for on this turn. That will knock out the Thundurus and do strong, you know, strong neutral damage to Gastrodon. Is not enough for a knockout or a 2-hit KO on its own, but because of the Chilling May boost that Calyrex is about to get, that means next turn it will be a knockout onto the Gastrodon. Oh, Yawn though, actually, but he's protected. So I think Electric Train is about to expire soon, so I think the play might have been to Yawn, anticipating for when they're actually put to sleep, Electric Train would not be around. But unfortunately for Logan, that's not how the interaction works at this point. It's while you attempt to yawn, if terrain is up, you can't yawn.
Yeah, it's too bad there. I mean,
yeah, it just went away.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the second weird yawn interaction we've seen today. You know, it's they're really technical games. You know, we think with how long this set has been too, the players are probably really taxed. But we see Charizard as the final Pokemon. Little adjustment from Game 1. Probably a good one in the sense that, you know, you can imagine Groudon would be hugely excited about this situation.
Right, and the Charizard is, you know, it's somewhat of a fodder, but also can hang on from a Glacial Lance and hit the Calyrex Ice Rider back super effectively. So that could definitely be an option. It's like, all right, if you take this turn to knock out my Gastrodon, well then my Charizard can, you know, cause a lot of damage too. So the Gastrodon will protect on this turn actually though for Logan. So the only damage would be coming from Charizard. Actually, instead, Charizard is going to protect as well. So really, the rest of this turn doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, just trying to stall up those turns of Trick Room. Logan realizes he's on the back foot. The nice thing for him about Incineroar is that, you know, certainly not the most damaging Dynamax Pokemon in the game, but you know, there's still several more turns to get through, right? There's a ways to go before he's safe. I do love the Incineroar Dynamax this game, though. It needs to continue to stay on the field to close out this game more safely for Adi. And, you know, it's like he didn't know that Charizard was the final Pokemon when he clicked that button. I think if it is instead, you know, Groudon, you're at all concerned about any way that he might have in order to survive a single Glacial Lance, then, you know, just keep Incineroar safe.
Yep, so that double protect on that last turn from Logan, just trying to stall out the time here. Your Gastrodon is actually slowly recovering a bit by bit. I don't believe it would be enough for the Glacial Lance to not KO. We're going to find out here because Gastrodon is at pretty much exactly half of its HP, but because of the Chilling Name boost, Gastrodon goes down. So does Charizard in the neutral hit of Glacial Lance there as well. So it is now just Zacian on Logan's end against these two Pokemon.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask of Zacian, but I mean, hey, you know, he's been stalling out some turns. Assume we'll see a Protect right here. He will get out of Trick Room. It's just a matter of whether he can make up all that damage. Right,
because you can, you know, once the Trick Room expires, you can then hit Calyrex back, but can you stop the Incineroar from just clicking Flare Blitz in your face?
Yeah, I think that was one wise thing about the Incineroar Dynamax is that, you know, he wasn't Flare Blitzing all those turns in Trick Room, so any HP he would have wasted by, you know, doing damage that didn't really matter is, you know, avoided.
And the Sun is currently up too, right? So for the next 2 turns, the Sun is up. So even if you protect this turn, that means there still is the one turn that you're going to be able to have a Sun boosted Flare Blitz into that slot. So here is the Protect. So I guess Logan's play here is you target down Calyrex, you get knocked out from Flare Blitz. You target down the Incineroar, you don't even know if Sacred Sword's going to KO from that high of health, and then you get hit by a +3 Calyrex too.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if you don't have to double protect here, try to get rid of the Sun, and just hope you survive Flare Blitz while you knock out Calyrex, because, yeah, I mean, I think you need help from the Flare Blitz recoil.
Right, because then the Flare Blitz recoil would put Sacred Sword in range of knocking out. So that could be Logan's chance. With all the hypnosis and sleep powders and everything, you might have to rely on a 30% chance to double protect, but he does not for it. Instead, Sacred Sword actually
he doesn't need it. Okay.
Just gets the KO there. So that's a great job by Logan, knowing his calculations, understanding that Sacred Sword was enough damage.
Yeah, I like that move too, because he would have gotten burned if he tried it. You know, they're moving quickly enough I get a chance to say it, but yeah, the flaw of the double protect plan is if he hits Trick Room, you just lose.
Right, yeah.
And there's really no reason for him not to just click Trick Room, right? Because He's going to, if he gets to the Trick Room off, he's going to be faster this turn anyway, so you get one action for one action no matter what.
So you have high horsepower, that is super effective, and it is +3, so Calyrex clears the board in this set, and Aditya Subramanian will win round 5 Swiss here in Vancouver.
Yeah, that was a very technical set, but really well played. You know.